Just need a refresher. I got Monday, December 15th, 2025 at 9 o'clock. I called the Chickasaw County Board of Supervisors meeting to convene. Roll call. All members are present, along with Board Secretary Sheila Shuffleton. Is there a motion to approve the tentative agenda for today? We do have one cancellation at the 9:20. Has been canceled. They cannot attend. And then we're going to delete the boards and commissions as we have no applications, but I have been working on 3 people, so hopefully they come in next week. So, is there a motion to approve the agenda with those 2 deletions, the 9:20 and the board and commissions appointments? Second by Isaac. Motion by Travis, second by Isaac to approve the agenda with 2 cancellations, the 9:20 and the board and commission appointments. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Approve the minutes from last Monday, the 8th.
So. Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Steve to approve the minutes from December 8th. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. We'll go down the claims, get those done. Payroll claims that were dated last Friday, the 12th. Any concerns? If not, is there a motion to pay prior to payroll? Is there a second on the payroll claims?
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Scott to approve the payroll claims dated last Friday. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. Prior bill claims, I see there was a voided check due to lost mail. So that was just an in and out, the $270 for election. So prior bill then equals $3,536.39 is what I got.
3536.
3,536.39.
Make a motion to approve prior bills.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Scott to approve the prior bill claims, $3,536.39. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. The claims then equals $139,289.34.
So. Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Travis to approve the claims, $139,289.34. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Abstain.
Motion is carried 4-0 with Isaac abstaining. Give them over to your staff. If they want to start working on it.
They're good.
9:05, any public comment, Sheila?
No. If you want me to go over the
What?
like the conversation.
Yeah, we're gonna wait.
Okay, that's fine.
Anybody have committee assignments from last week? Travis, Scott?
No.
Committee. I got an email last Thursday, just an FYI, that CSS was supposed to meet this Wednesday, It's been moved to January now, January 21st, I believe. So the hiccup is the claims to close the account has not cleared the bank. So I guess we cannot close CSS off until the bank shows zero. So there'll be one last meeting then in January of 26 to close CSS financial duty. So. Shoot. I guess we can go do budgets. We can do ours since it's on there. Here's a copy of our budget. Did everybody get your personal line items? If you guys have your line items, get those back to Sheila when you can, or if you guys wanna go through them now, just sign them and date them. Otherwise, if we go through, just to fill some time here until 9:10, the ones that we don't know, I don't have another copy for some reason. So what do you guys wanna do for like stationery forms in general? 5,000 last year, we've used $157. I remind you that mailing that goes out in February is a combination of that line item and the 3,500. Because last year we did 696 and 5,100. If you guys see that in the total activity in 24-25. If nothing changes with the law, we still have to mail that mailer out. So then board proceedings was budgeted at 25,000. Last fiscal year, we used 17. Current to December 1st, we used 7,600. So that could be one line item that could decrease if you guys think it should. Postage and mailings, we budget 5, we use none. But like I said, that the mailings are gonna come out too. The rest are specific for board members, mileage, telephone, internet, we did 720. Last fiscal year, we did 670 activity. Lodging is your guys's, mileage is yours, education is yours. Dues and membership must be to ISAC, so that's $400. I have not heard if that's going up. I think that one should stay the same too at $400. So those are ours. You guys have any issues with any of those I mentioned?
That telephone internet, if we, because I assume we have to have a subscription for either Zoom or Teams. If we do that, does that come out of there or will it come out of just IT?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that would be a benefit.
Probably an IT.
Because they pay for all our software.
Correct.
Higher than that, so,
I think if he does his Zooms, that should be open to any general basic fund.
And the other, I guess the other side of it too would be if we switch
With
the email, is that coming out of here, is that coming out of, I assume that comes out of IT.
it would come out of IT.
good question.
Yeah, we don't know how much more that's gonna be.
No.
I'm sure it's gonna be more.
Correct. So any changes to those, is it 5 or 6 I mentioned? If not, get your individual request over to the auditor, sign them.
I'll need that too.
Yeah, I think we'll leave them all the same then. As current year. So 5,000, $35, 3,500. How about board proceedings? We had 25,000 in there.
So what if we could lower that to 20,000? Yeah, agree.
20,
Yeah.
so we're gonna lower that one to 20. Telephone internet, 720, or? We're about halfway there already,
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good there.
720. And then dues and membership at 400.
Yeah.
So on those, we went down $5,000 is the only one that went down. Yeah, we can get them all entered, and then the board members can get their individuals over to you.
You guys got your individual, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we got 9:10 on the agenda. We have set aside today, this time, place for a public hearing for the budget amendment number 2 for the current fiscal year 25-26. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So,
Is there a second?
second.
Motion by Travis, second by Isaac to open the public hearing for the budget amendment number 2 for the current fiscal year. Any discussion? Otherwise, roll call. Travis?
Aye.
Isaac?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Jake, aye. Motion is carried 5-0. We are in the public hearing. Sheila, any written comments?
No, I did not receive any written comments.
Any public comments? Just a recap, this budget amendment is mostly triggered for the $60,000 to IGHCP. A couple, $5,000 amended to do printing of ballots. The sheriff's training, that's an in and out. EMS, health insurance, planning commission for insurance, and then the 612,000, which 600,000 is for the TIF project. So we can use those TIF bond dollars to do a project with. I think that's all of them. If there's no public comments, and there's no written comment, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Scott to close the public hearing at 9:12. If there's no discussion, we'll do a roll call. Steve?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Isaac?
Aye.
Jake, aye. Motion is carried 5-0. And then, second part of that is to approve resolution 12-15-25-56 to amend the department appropriations. Sheila has prepared that resolution.
And if you want to see the impact on our budgets, I also put a sheet on your paper or on your desk to show you what, after the second amendment, how it impacted the budgets.
So yeah, she did a nice job of putting amendment number 1 on the left, then the new current budget, and then the impact of budget amendment number 2 for said departments. Is there a motion to approve resolution number 56?
Make a motion to approve resolution number 12-15-25-56, resolution to amend departmental appropriations.
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Travis to approve resolution 12-15-25-56. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Steve?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Isaac?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Jake, aye. Resolution has been adopted.
So there's the
Thanks, Deb.
keys.
Want this for the- No? Okay.
David, county attorney, was gonna call in. He had a hearing this morning though, so he'll be calling in anytime now. We'll get these two guys over here to sign this. We'll get started. When he calls them, we'll get them online here. But discuss fiscal year 26-27 budgets. Thank you all for coming, elected officials. Presentation for elected officials for compensation recommendation for next fiscal year budget 26-27. Kind of like in the past year, since the board has not asked to bring back the compensation board, we just need knowledge, what you guys feel, what your colleagues are making across the state, your other elected officials. I don't know who wants to go first. We'll take it under advisement, I feel, because I think then we have to do our own research if you haven't already. And I think this time, unlike last time, I think the Board of Supervisors should also present their facts and findings at this time to be reconsidered at a later meeting. So, Matt?
I'll give you guys a copy of this too, if you wanna look at it, but, so the treasurer's role requires continuous oversight of the administration, receiving and distribution of county revenues, property tax collections and disbursement to multiple taxing entities, motor vehicle transactions, licensing, and regulatory compliance. We also manage the investments, look at liquidity needs and reporting requirements. We ensure compliance with state law, county policies, and annual audits. Over the past 3 years, the treasurer's office has shown consistent and measurable progress. Some of the key things as far as improvements go, department revenue has increased each year. After expenses in 22-23 fiscal year, we're at $185,415. 23-24 fiscal year was $278,000. 24-25 fiscal year was $347,000. And in just over 5 months this fiscal year, we're at $230,440. In the last 12 months, we've receipted in the office approximately $6,670,000 for motor vehicle, $11 million in miscellaneous. And this fiscal year, we'll collect about $24 million for property taxes. I feel like we've improved service delivery. We've reduced processing times. We have one of the better turnaround times for the electronic titles in the state. And we've tried to enhance communication with the citizens. We've successfully onboarded and trained staff when we've needed to, and we've maintained continuity and customer service quality. We've also implemented and updated procedures and technology tools to streamline operations and reduce errors, and it's contributed to increased efficiency and stronger financial outcomes for the county. As far as like comparison of salaries, I was just kind of looking, we were on the survey wage, we're county 65, so I just pretty much took the counties that were ranked in the 60s, and I think we're about within $400 or $500 on average. I think I threw out the highest and the lowest because those were both pretty extreme. So, so I basically took the 7 closest to us, and we were right there with them. I mean, there's some outliers, but for the most part, I felt like it was kind of fell within the average of a similar sized county. So as far as like a requested adjustment, the salaries across Iowa reflect the high level of responsibility associated with managing county funds. Based on performance improvements, revenue growth, and comparative compensation trends, I request a salary adjustment of 3%. That would reflect our expanded workload and financial responsibility of the office, 3 years of successful service and office improvements, market appropriate compensation for elected treasurers in Iowa, and it also reflects the importance of retention and stability in county financial management.
Thank you. Any questions for the treasurer? Sure. Sheila, you want to go?
Yep, I can go next. If you want. So with the responsibilities of my office, and you have to remember, like last year, we were cut one person, so we're doing the same work with less people. But my primary responsibility is preparing and certifying tax levies, maintaining financial records. I'm the clerk to the Board of Supervisors and the Commissioner of Elections, keeping real estate transfer records, and also providing a passport service. When I went to ISACA survey, I did 20 different counties. I took 10 that were population that was higher than us, just right above us, and then I took the 10 right below us to do the average. And we kind of fell a little short, but I think if I would request a 3% raise, that would keep, get me in line with them.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Sheila? All right, Recorder Shirley?
My office works closely with a lot of the offices in the courthouse. We record deeds and mortgages for all the bankers and attorneys that require filing documents. We work with the state vital records department, issue vital records, marriage licenses, birth certificates for driver's license and passports. We do DNR with registering and renewing boats, snowmobiles, ATVs. We have to have good judgment when we're doing that, because people aren't all allowed to have the vital records. There's a process that you have to be entitled to that record, and we try to help the taxpayers in the county when they need copies of their deeds and mortgages. And the last fiscal year with the two in my office, we're both cross-trained. We know how to do everything that's required in the office. And the office took in the last fiscal year, I can get to my paper, $376,461. So my budget, of course, is one of the leanest probably in the county, and with the 2% and everything else, I'm still hoping that it is allowed that we would get a cost of living or 3% increase also.
Thank you. Any questions for Shirley? Does that compare to ISAC survey across the state for recorders?
Pretty much, yeah. There are a few that are higher, like Hancock County. I don't know if she'll get what she'll get this year, but she's like $10,000 higher than we are here in Chickasaw.
Yep.
For population wise, she's lower, or they're lower population.
Yeah.
Dave's on this.
Dave's on. Yep. Don't shut that off. Dave, are you there? Okay, we'll put you on speakerphone. If we could, let's go to David. So Dave, we heard presentations from the auditor, treasurer, recorder. We'll go to you next. I know you sent out a packet to us on Friday. The sheriff did too, but you want to explain anything in your packet?
Yeah, just briefly, thanks. I apologize for not being there in person and my tardiness. I was on a call with the mental health hearing upstairs this morning already.
No, you're good.
I gave you 2 sheets of paper, front and back. The first one has the salary comparison. One side that has a yellow bar running down the middle. That's sorted by population. I didn't cherry pick any counties here. It's a dozen or so with more population than us, a dozen or so with less population than us. Right off of the most recent estimated census figures. One of the things you'll note on there, my salary is relatively high compared to some of the other ones, if you just look at that second column. However, I think we're not comparing apples to apples because sometimes folks are full-time, sometimes folks are part-time, and the most important thing is the third column. Most offices do have an assistant county attorney like we did in this county prior to me getting here. And many of our neighboring counties do as well. So the bottom line is, yes, I think there's 6 of those 28 that are on there that do not have an assistant, and ours is one of them. So when I compare the salaries, I'm not just looking at the salary for the elected official, I'm also looking at the total budget impact, the total cost of taxpayers. And to me, that includes not just the elected official, but also the staff and the office of the elected official. That's the taxpayers really want to know what the costing us to run this office. So when you look at that, there's 6 that do not have an assistant, and if you put that over, that's with the yellow bar running on the bottom. I did then sort it by total cost per capita. That'd be the total cost between the elected official and the assistant county attorney divided by population. And if you look at that, we're almost near the bottom, which is a good thing. I'm very proud of that we're near the bottom. Our office is not costing the taxpayers near as much as it is across the state. And I would note the comparable to your research, the ones that do not have an assistant county attorney are all in the bottom half because there's only one person in the office. That'd be Humboldt, Winnebago, and Hancock, which both make more than me, and are both smaller counties. Lyon County, Butler, which is the outlier, there at the bottom. And this, of course, does not include staff. So I know some of these offices have more than one staff person. I know for a fact that Lyon County, which is Northwest Iowa, has 3 staff members with 1 full-time attorney. So that cost is even higher. We only have 1 staff member, Michelle, who wears a lot of hats. We don't have a victim witness coordinator. We don't have anything else. Then the second sheet is my budget proposal. I think it's fair to ask how you put this into your budget. When you look at the first page, just with the blue bars, that would be my request for 26-27. So that's a 4% increase for myself and a 4% increase for Michelle. And even with that increase, we can keep our budget only up 1.48% from this year's budget. And I'm very proud and think that bar graph illustrates nicely over the last 7 years, 6 years actually, the budget impact to the taxpayers. I think we've done a great job in the office keeping the budget down. We've let go of a person, we've now let go of a part-time person, and it's just Michelle and I basically running the office. We're still lower than we were 6 years ago, which is a good thing. And then, of course, lastly is the back page of that. That shows the criminal charges, and so you all look at that. Our level of criminal offenses, Ryan will attest to this, has remained pretty stable over the last couple of years. It kind of ebbs and flows, but overall it's been stable. And this is just part of the job, obviously. We also have magistrate court, which it came from, juvenile court, and then all the civil work, which is board supervisors, department heads, contracts. So, yeah, I'm asking for 4%. That's the same as the unions are getting, and more importantly, the same as law enforcement, which I think Michelle and I are similar to law enforcement in what we do. We work the closely with them. It fits into my budget. And I would just indicate also that you guys don't have to decide today. I think the resolution doesn't have to be passed, and sometimes it's passed the day of the budget in the spring. So take a look, do your research, reach out to me if you have any questions. I know a couple of you have already. I'm more than happy to talk about this chart. If you want the chart, you can quote it by other columns. I'm happy to provide that to you. If there's any questions, but the long and short of it is a 4% request from my office. Fits in our budget.
Yep, thank you. Any questions to David? No, thanks for that advice too. I mean, like I said before you got on, I don't think the board's gonna make a decision today. I hope not, I think they need to do their own research if they haven't. So, any questions for Dave? Otherwise, you wanna hang on, Dave, or do you wanna go?
I'm gonna watch online, because I have to hop back on for the mental health here in a little bit.
All right, we'll see you.
So I'll disconnect from here and I'll be watching, so thanks.
Okay.
Bye, Dave.
Last one,
Yep.
us is the sheriff, right?
So I emailed you guys on Friday, I'm gonna take a look at it, comparison spreadsheet that I've done. According to Back to Blue, it's just a recommendation that the compensation board is to recommend. Sheriff's salary, so that's comparable salaries paid to professional law enforcement administrators and command staff, Iowa State Patrol, Division of Criminal Investigation, Department of Public Safety, and the city police chiefs employed by cities with similar population to the population of the county. So that's kind of what I've done. Iowa State and Post 8, which is the post we are in. The lieutenant and sergeant, you can see their salaries there, comparatively speaking, and I used Boone, Spencer, Oskaloosa, and Storm Lake. Our population census was 12,000, and 2020 was 12,000. I think we can all agree it's probably lower than that by now. But that's the number we have to use. Boone is a little bit higher than us as far as population goes. You get Spencer and Oskaloosa, but I would say Oskaloosa is probably pretty comparable in size to us. Then I did also add in just different county sheriffs, just for comparison purposes of counties that are relatively our size or less. I got those comparisons there. I think you guys all know what the Office of the Sheriff does. If you have any questions on that, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. As far as recommendations go, I'm with Dave, just kind of going with our unique contract of 4%. It's what I recommended last year. It stays consistent along with that. So if you try to get up there and kind of go with Back to Blue, I know there's been some talk about that at the Iowa State Sheriff's and Deputy Association level in different sessions at the legislature. I don't know if they're going to add anything to that because it's just good recommendations. But again, I'm not here to start an argument. There have been other sheriffs that have filed lawsuits. I'm not that kind of person. It's not what I'm here for. But to get up there on those comparisons per that Iowa code, you'd be looking at anywhere from 8 to 15 to 16%. I mean, that's just not feasible for us. So with that 4%, I'm with Dave. I pretty much got my budget done. That does stay within that 2% recommendation the board has asked. To keep our budgets in, I think I'm fine tweaking some things here and there, about 1.8%, 1.86%. So that's where I'm looking at as far as an overall budget increase for my office for next year. So.
Any questions for Ryan? I think he gave you guys a lot of things to look at Friday, so.
And those sheriff's office numbers came from ISAC's website, and then the cities, I emailed their city clerks directly.
Is the Iowa State Patrol Post 8 on those public information too?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure where, it's Department of Administrative Services where I found it.
I can't, I've probably.
I can send you a link.
Same website, I can't tell you what it is.
Yeah, I can send you the link. Yeah, where I found it, yeah.
Any questions for Ryan? Otherwise, you guys all did a great job. I think that's what we needed. I think it's our job then, since we don't have a compensation board, to do our own research if you haven't already. I guess, does anybody have questions for us? Otherwise, we can move into our presentation. So all 5 of us can hear what we are thinking. I don't know if anybody wants to go first. I can go first. So I just went off of ISAC. That's the best knowledge. I looked at the state average, and remember, I didn't take away the Polks and the Lynn's and the Scott counties, but the state average is 43,000. I did do some more research on counties with 5 of us. There's 42 now that have 5. I believe it was a lot lower a couple years ago. And then 57 would have 3 supervisors. So my research is just with the 5. I don't really care what the 3 do because they do more committee assignments. So I just did 5. So Winnebago County is close by with 5. They're making 38,000. We are currently at 34,970. So other counties within that region, Kossuth, Humboldt, they're at that 43 or 39,000. I use Guthrie County, which have 5. They're at 36,500. and they are close to us in population rank. We are number 65 in the state. They are number 67. And then the rank of pay, we are number 76 out of 99 counties, where Guthrie County is at 66 ranking of pay. I looked at the other rankings, and we can have this discussion too, of the other 5 elected officials in the county. You know, like David did present that he's at 37 through the survey. The auditor's sitting at 66, recorder at 61, the sheriff at 71, and the treasurer's at 63 ranking of pay throughout the state of Iowa. And we sit at number 76. The state elected average, I like that little survey on the back side of the chart. If you combine all 10 of us in Chickasaw County, we sit at number 46 statewide as a rank pay of total of 10 of us, which is $648,000 is what the taxpayers and services pay for us 10 to take this job, to be elected first and then to take it. So I know we've been holding back our wages for many years, since I've been here about 10 years now. I believe 3 of those 10 years we took a froze. Last year, we were the only ones that froze our wages along with the EMS director, but everybody else did move up. So, you know, to get us to even the state average, I'm not looking at 43,000, but, you know, to even get us to 40,000 is about a 16% increase. I hate to throw those percents out there, but since we do make a lot lower than the rest of you, a higher percent brings in $4,000. A 4% to the sheriff and a 4% to the attorney, you know, they're bringing in, what is it?
Mine's about 4,300.
4,300.
Yeah.
So.
At the 4%, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just gonna throw this pitch out there that, you know, is this another year that we should just not worry about percentages and give a flat $1 an hour increase? And we can debate that all day long of if we're full-time, part-time. If anybody follows me or my phone, I feel I give a service, a full-time service to this county. So, you know, am I looking at $2,000? It could be, right? It'd be $1 an hour at 2,080 hours a year. So that's my 2 cents. Take it with what you want. Anybody else have a presentation or what they think? So I look at $2,000, whatever percent that is, I don't care.
I can say just going through the numbers in all the different counties and through the ISAC, there's a wealth of information on that ISAC website. It doesn't correlate to the population, to the wage. It's all over the board, and all the elected officials that, so you can't say, yeah, we get this population, it's this wage, it's sheriff, every one of them is different. So as far as the supervisor, yeah, we kept it at 0 right off, and I guess I don't have an opinion right now on what it should be. I haven't really made that decision.
When was the last time this board actually took a raise?
2 years ago, I think it was a 3%.
I mean, nobody wants to take a job and sit idle and just say, hey, this is where you're gonna stay for the rest of the time you're here. And you're not gonna continue to do it at that rate. No one would. So I would be okay with the 2,000 that you're talking as
I
well.
think I figured that out too. The percent was 5.9%.
You'd be close to 6%.
Yeah. So just for our body, that would be I figured like a 5.9% would be $1 an hour. And I know that people out there, thank you for watching and talk to us. That's what we do. We listen. When they see a 6% increase, they'll have some concerns, but please welcome that discussion with us. Why I guess some of us think of 6%. Somebody's gonna fill this seat, no matter when that election is. Inflation, some of us do it for minimum wage, I feel. So
You're only talking $10,000 in this scheme of things. It's very minimal.
So, not even butt into your guys' conversations, but I think you guys do need to do something for yourselves. And it's not for yourselves, it's for those seats you sit in. It's not people individually. I mean, let's take the last city council election with the city of New Hampton, they're struggling to find people to fill these seats, because it's not an easy job. You guys take more backlash than anything, any one of us other elected officials do. I take my fair share, but that's fine. But when you go to the ballot, you don't see 4 or 5 names on the ballot to fill these seats. It's not an easy job. People historically, you've seen, and through the elections, don't want to fill it because of those certain reasons. So these are the unfun discussions to have, but it's not for the people sitting in your guys' seats, and because how long is everybody gonna be in those seats? No one knows. And it's for yourselves as well as those after you guys as well.
Yep.
So.
Thank you.
So I've been doing,
Travis, go ahead.
I've been doing a little research myself, and even if you just take 2 above us and 2 below us, we're right in the middle of where we should be. I don't know that I like that, because there's a couple of them that only have 3 supervisors. Right now, I'm pretty much undecided.
Fair enough. Thank you. Scott?
Well, I mean, I looked at this from a lot of different angles, try to look at it from, all our surrounding neighbors. I feel like we live in a micro economy. So some of the numbers that we get off the ISAC don't mean nothing. I mean, if we're using Polk County, Scott County, it's totally different economy than we have in Northeast Iowa. Iowa Workforce Development does have a spreadsheet with average pays in Northeast Iowa. I folded that into it. Unfortunately, don't have supervisors, but they do have legislators. And they're looking at, 53,000, which kind of folds into the averages, and then if you look at the state. I took 4 of our neighboring counties, I come up with an average of 40,000. And, again, like Jake had mentioned, I had thrown the 16% in there because that's what it takes to get to that average. Obviously not asking for the 16%, but just to see what it would take to get there is why I figured that out. I would be the same as Isaac in that I guess I would look at that around the 5%, 5 or 6%, somewhere in that area is what, to get us, back on track, I think.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna add back to 2 counties that are Heartland, Tama and Mitchell. Tama has 5 supervisors, Mitchell has 5. Mitchell supervisors making 40,170, and they're about the same population. We're number 67, they're 68. Tama County has 5, and they're making 38,724. So another comparable to Heartland, Tama and Mitchell are currently, now this is current numbers, currently are about $4,000 to $5,000 more today than we are. So just to throw that out there too. Any other discussion, the 5 of us?
Another one, Guthrie County, and they had 5, they were 36,439 last year, so they're a couple thousand to start with.
I think 5 is a good number. I know there's been a lot of talk over the years. I think 5 is a good feedback from different viewpoints, in my personal opinion. I think you see counties with 3, it might go unsaid, but you can call a good old boys club. And get 2 that kind of think alike, and whether that's right or wrong or not, I just think 5 is a good tiebreaker number sometimes. So that's just my 2 cents.
Appreciate it. It's always hard to get 2 votes under 1.
Yep.
I do like the 5, just for the fact that every one of us has come up with input for these meetings.
Yep, I agree. And we serve our district in the areas where they're at. We bring some urban, we bring some rural, but I'm
Well,
not,
and you're seeing a lot of counties that went to 3 go back to 5.
so.
5 is a better number.
It is.
And that's why I didn't even look at the 3 counties that have 3 counties, because they're all making, some of them are making 5 to 10,000 more than a county with 5. So I think take those out of the survey right away, just because they have 2 less bodies. I think we heard a lot today. I think no surprises, I don't think, from anybody. I think we're in line to have that budget discussion in the next couple meetings. I think my timeline, and if you guys disagree, please let me know, is still on track for non-departments next week and the 29th. At some point though, these department head teams, the 5 elected officials and us need to figure out what we're gonna tell them to put in their budgets. I think I'm gonna pin it back at the evaluations, and hopefully we get those next week. Sheila? Just to know where the county's at, and if we have to lower GB, all of our salaries come out of GB. And see what the county did do indeed of evaluation growth. And then keeping in mind what the State House is gonna do, hopefully in January or February. Not hopefully, I did not mean it that way, but I've been hearing that they're gonna come out with their plan in January or February, not or April or May. So that's what I meant by that comment. Any other questions, concerns? Do your own research. I think we all did, but continue to do it and bring back a fair cost of living adjustment, if that's what this board wants to give. Fair enough?
I just want to say thank you all for the 2% that we requested. Most of you all stayed right there, really, really close. So that definitely helps us on this board, I think. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks. So really, anything else for budget discussion? I know they're coming in. I know Sheila said there's a couple for next week already for the non-departments.
And then they'll have that time in there, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. It wasn't nasty, wasn't it?
So anyway, yeah, so non-departments are getting on the agenda from now until the middle of January. You guys got a lot of paper requests from them already, emailed, or Sheila's made copies. I'll just say it fairly, the non-departments did take a lot of cut last year. They are trying to provide a service also to the county residents for stuff that is not a county department. So just take that in consideration also. Otherwise, is there any other budget talks for the next fiscal budget? I'm just gonna add, I think the department head teams need to figure out that re-estimate a little bit closer than maybe we all did last year, countywide, to see where our true picture is at of either give back or revenue change, because that's on them. They have to present that information to the auditor, to the board, to get to a closer number of where they think they're at and where they think they're at for revenue. If we can adjust more revenues coming in that we didn't project, let's know that, let's know that now than later. So otherwise, that's all I have. If you guys want to see anything else. So like I said, let's have a good holiday, Christmas break, come back to 29th with hopefully your guys' decision on compensation for the elected officials. So they can get that in the budget. And then on the 5th, 6th, 7th, 12th, 13th, 14th, what are your presentations? That's the way I see the timeline. If not, we can all agree to disagree later. All right, budgets are done for today. Meet with custodian Dave Gorman. Morning, Dave.
Good morning.
So there's a couple of things. I'm gonna help them out a little bit. I know we've had 2 big winter storms on the weekend. Dave did approach me, probably the last 2 storms, that he could use an extra hand. So good morning, Dave. You want to discuss any department updates first?
As far as updates go, mechanics of the buildings have been holding up well. We did a lot of preventive maintenance on heating units and stuff like that, so heat's all been working good. Mick Gage contacted me last week said that the air conditioning unit for the courthouse has arrived at his building. Obviously, we're not gonna be putting it up anytime soon now. We were hoping to, but the weather had other ideas, so.
If you wanna add to that, if you, maybe, sorry for cutting you off, he's gonna submit the bill for that though.
He will submit the bill for the unit itself, yes.
Which I think is fair enough, we approved that, whatever it was, 200,000-ish plus, whatever it was.
Mhm.
Are we
I can't
okay for him to submit that claim for the unit itself, no labor,
Right,
just so he can clean up his books too?
correct.
So we'll be seeing that probably in 2 weeks claims.
I would say, I would think he'd probably be sending it this week here at some point, because the unit got here last week, so.
Yeah.
He has no problem storing it there. He indicated to me that, if we would get a warm up, an unusual warm up in the winter, he would try to get it up there, so. Otherwise, we're probably looking at a timetable of around April, first part of April, hopefully, so.
I know Dave will do this, but I talked to him about it, but I don't think there should be an ounce of ice on that roof for liability and puncturing a hole in that membrane with people up there.
Yes.
In an emergency situation, yes, but for people up there walking around and
Yeah, wintertime.
we don't
try to
want
stay
that
on.
rubber membrane to be cut, cracked, broken.
Yeah, we hope that roof has a lot of years left in it. And staying off it in the wintertime promotes not having any more damage, so.
Heritage, just an update to the board, and you did talk to Dave Friday about this. We will find out today if Northeast Iowa Community Action got that grant for that third office space at the Heritage. You really haven't done nothing yet.
No, we haven't. I think you and I had discussed, that if they do need another office, we'd probably have to paint, do lights,
Yep.
and whatever in an existing room there, but
And we had the consensus about a month ago on that up here too, so we're all good to go, but just hopefully they get the grant and they need a room shortly.
Mhm.
I think we have time to prepare that room.
yeah, it shouldn't take us long to get it ready if needed, so.
Anything else board members have, or Dave, you have for department update? Truck
No.
still running okay?
Truck's running okay. I think it'll make it through winter if it doesn't totally fall apart here with the rust, but, no, it seems fine.
Got Agenda item then would be discuss and approve a job posting for a part-time scheduled custodian. Like I said, Dave approached me the last 2 weeks, and this is where I'm up in the air, board. Do we want a part-time scheduled custodian, if that's what you guys think? Do we want to advertise for up to 25 hours, not specifically 20 hours? And Dave, you can discuss this with us.
Mhm.
Do you have enough work? Yes, probably, for a 20-hour work week, or should it just say up to 25 hours a week? Or what's your feeling on what that description should be?
I think the 20-hour would be fine.
Every week, 20 hours.
I think so, yeah. I mean, there's enough of smaller jobs around here that a lot of times get overlooked because more important things overtake it. I mean, just like washing interior windows and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of little jobs that could take, a lot of that time up per week just to try to keep the buildings in a little bit better condition as far as the small items go.
Up until last year, the county always had a part-time for the head custodian and sometimes 2 part-time.
Mhm.
I just think, and I'm gonna help them out a little bit, we have potentially 2 buildings more than we had 3-4 years ago even.
Right.
I think it cannot be done with 1 full-time person.
When I first started.
Added down to.
Yeah, when I first started here, we had the courthouse, the sheriff's office, and the public health. And now, obviously we have Deb at the Heritage, which, if we didn't have her there, we'd be in big trouble, but the other buildings, the smaller items at the ambulance shed, the law office, those little items, I mean, take up considerably more time than what I was handling years ago, so.
I'm gonna pull your budget up quick, but I think we left in there part-time because Zach comes in on the weekends and does the courthouse. Do you have access to the current budget, Sheila?
I can, I might have one too.
So Dave has general service, but he also has Deb labeled under heritage and community service.
Yes. Yep. Deb does, morning, daily cleaning at the public health building.
And then she
And
does
the
the
law
law office
Law office on Monday.
when somebody's there.
Yeah.
So my records show we put in $40,000 for salary part-time for general basic for the courthouse. And probably nobody came out of that yet, this fiscal year.
No, because we've been without a part-time person for a little over a year now.
50
It's back to 51 and
part-time.
salary part-time. We haven't really dipped into it. This was at, November 19th, we had taken $2,500 out of 40,000.
And that would probably just be Zach
Correct. Yeah.
on the weekends.
And one of the, I'll just throw this out there too, one of the things that helped me out immensely this summer was that we had a local person volunteer to mow courthouse and public health, which that helped out a lot. Now, after the season was over, he indicated to me that he just felt that he couldn't do it anymore, so he probably won't be back next year. So, if I had somebody here to do lawn mowing and trimming and stuff like that, it would help me keep up on the bigger ends of things, as far as pressing things that come up time to time and things like that, so. I get going on a project and then I get pulled away quite a few times, is basically what I'm saying, so.
Because to be fair to the board, the last 2 weekends, not this last previous 2 weekends, you've worked 10, 12-hour days. On weekends.
Yeah.
So that time is gonna be turned over for overtime or comp time. That means Dave won't be here on certain days, because of those 2 snowstorms. It's early in the winter season. I thought this would be a good time to present it to you guys. I don't know what you guys feel or thinking. You guys can say no. What we're asking for is to advertise until filled. The current job description on file, I believe Sheila gave you a current job description. Yep. I think the only thing that needs, are you guys willing to do this? Otherwise I'm wasting my time.
We got a budget, so, yeah, it's well within the budget.
So the only thing I think needs to be added with job purpose is the sheriff's building. So it says maintains the courthouse, law, emergency management, the heritage, sheriff, and the community service building. I think that's the only word that needs to be added on the job description, because you're gonna want that person to remove snow, cut grass at the sheriff's office.
Right.
And then in the job posting, the current one was used for when we hired Deb Rzonki. So I think it just needs, it's the picture of the courthouse. Chickasaw County is accepting applications for a part-time scheduled custodian, parentheses, 20 hours a week. And then that does say closing date open until filled. You guys okay with those?
I think we should go up to 25 hours. I mean, it doesn't add a lot, but you need a lot of hours in one snowstorm. And if we have 2 snowstorms in the same week, you're back to being by yourself.
Right, and like I said before, with the lawn mowing in, but we had an unusually wet summer this summer, so if I didn't have our volunteer guy mowing, I would have been putting in a lot of extra hours.
So then Scott, would you put parentheses 20 hours per week up to 25? Or how would you classify?
Probably, up to 25.
Just so the individual knows that they're gonna be working 20 hours a week,
Mhm.
but there might be some special occasions that it could be 25.
You're right, correct, yeah.
And then you guys want that to go out this Thursday, Friday to the county publication? Yep. And website and bulletin boards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say.
All right.
Okay, I have to put this in.
Any guidance before we make the motion on, in the salary range for the job description, so it's based on experience, not exempt. Just to give Dave some timeline of, you guys can look at your survey. Currently, we pay those two individuals. Dave, you know, off the top of your head? Right here. So we pay Deb currently $20.81, and we pay Zach $17 an hour. Those are both hourly rates, $20.81 for full-time, $17 for part-time. Are we gonna find anybody at 15 to 17? Just throwing that out. I know whatever we decide though, I mean, I think that'd be fair to Zach then, at budget work sessions.
I don't think it'd be less than 17. I don't think you get anybody.
So what kind of range would we give Dave with experience? So
Would
he
we just say
knows-
15, range of 15 to 20, depending on experience? Would that,
Well, this is just for you to decide when you interview. Right now, the job description says based on experience, not exempt.
but I agree with Steve. I mean, if it's not 17, you're probably not gonna get anybody to even apply, so.
And Zach is, I talk to Zach often, I know you do too, Dave.
Right.
He's happy with 17 on the weekends,
Mhm.
but there is sometimes you do call him, if he's available.
Mhm.
He does have a full-time job someplace else.
That is the thing with him, is that he's more than willing to pitch in, but a lot of times his full-time job dictates where he's at, so.
Correct. I would go with Steve a little bit, I would say 17 to 20.
Mhm.
That's my range.
Yep.
When you interview and maybe present to us at a later date,
I think that's a good idea.
17 to 20.
Yeah.
So you good to go on that, Dave?
Okay, yep, sounds good to me.
So then is there a motion to advertise a part-time scheduled custodian? What word did we use, Scott? Part-time scheduled custodian, 20 hours a week, up to 25. If that's good.
I'll make a motion.
Sorry.
Motion by Travis, second by Scott, to allow head custodian to advertise for a part-time scheduled custodian, 20 hours a week, up to 25. If I can add, to be advertised at the local papers this week, county website, and the bulletin boards. This position will be open until filled. And Dave has his marching orders on the wage.
Okay.
Any discussion? Just to recap, it's in the budget. There's about 37,000 left in the part-time area. This does not include benefits like, health insurance, but it does include IVers and FICAs.
Right.
Any-
Sounds good.
Anything else? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye, anybody opposed? Motion is carried. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, thank you.
Over here. Moving on down to EMS Director Joe Knudsen. Good morning, Joe.
Morning.
Any department update for us?
Nothing too earth shattering, working on putting an EMT class together for second semester for the high school, which will be good, but. Yeah, other than that, it's been busy and numbers are sweet, so it's.
Perfect. Moving on down then, anybody got a question for him or anything on that? If not, on the agenda, then we have discuss a policy for the required of hours for part-time staff. So yeah, 2-3 weeks ago, we had Joel up here. You did not find a policy?
I was very certain that we had put one in together when we approved the wages the first time. I think a lot of people were very certain of that, and then when we went to go look, it was never in there. So, there is one now. Excuse me.
Well, not
So-
quite yet.
One for discussion. So, I drafted one, I sent it to Dave gave his approval. Dave sent it back to me and said, run it past our HR attorneys. I sent it at that point to Mike Galloway with Ehlers and Cooley, and he forwarded it on to another attorney within their office. Anyway, she made a couple slight changes to what I had, but approved it to be sent back to you guys with their blessing. So as it sits right now, and I don't know if you have all have copies of it, but it defines what a full-time employee is, 0.9 FTE and above. Then it defines what a part-time employee is, 0.15 to 0.49 FTE. And in that, it also defines the set amount of hours that they need to work. Going on a monthly basis, I thought was a little bit too hard to manage just because of people's schedules. I mean, we've got coaches on our team, on our group, we've got farmers, we've got everything who will miss a month occasionally because of commitments. So I stretched it out over a quarter. The way I outlined it in the policy is meet an average of 24 hours per month over a quarter sampling period. And then if you fail to do that, you have an additional quarter to become compliant. At the end of that quarter, or at the end of that second quarter, if you haven't become compliant with the hours requirement, then it spells out who failed to meet the hours requirement for 2 consecutive quarters will be disciplined up to and including termination. That is the wording that the HR attorney encouraged us to use. She said, though, the employee always has the option to resign if they so choose. Looking at this policy, it has been part of my discussion and continues to be part of my discussion with everybody on their yearly performance reviews. Just, hey, this is why we need you here. Just to stay current on what all of our stuff is. There's a lot of good points you can bring up that, even if they staff one call per year, that's one person they helped out. And I agree with that, but it is a little bit more difficult to maintain that they are keeping up competencies in their practice. I did have a pretty lengthy discussion with most all of the Fredericksburg crew. And I mean, it was met with some mixed emotions, some confusion. Do we have to come up to New Hampton to work these shifts? We answered a lot of questions with that. I think the way this policy is drafted, I think we will retain most of our staff down there, which was refreshing. I was very fearful that it was not gonna be something that they were interested in helping with. It's interesting as I talk to my colleagues, kind of around the area, that we have as much interest in working for our department as we do. This is certainly not the norm throughout the state. We have a good program, we've created a good culture that people want to be a part of, and after we talk about this, we're going to talk about bringing on a couple more drivers as well. There are programs that, they beg and plead people to come help them, and here we have people, beating down our door. So with this policy, it is, gonna kind of outline the expectations. It will either force some people to abide by it, or it'll remind them that they just don't have the time to commit to do it right now. And honestly, that's fine. Life events change. There's nothing more important than your family. If you can't be here to help us on the ambulance now, that's fine. Maybe there will come a day when you can, and we are perfectly okay with that. But this policy kind of outlines the expectations.
My only question, I think it's a great policy. What would be a discipline?
So
If they don't do it for 2 consecutive quarters, what's your discipline gonna be? And I wanna be equal to everybody employed.
yeah,
Are you gonna, or should that word just be taken out of the?
so that was the word that came from direct from Rebecca with Ehlers and Cooley. I copied that word for word.
Could you give me an example of a discipline?
up to and including termination. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Take away the birthday for a year, I don't
I don't think you put mandatory termination, just for the fact that if you have somebody that has some life issue.
Correct.
For 2 quarters,
So we,
but they're gonna be
yeah.
able to help after that.
We talked a little bit about that with Dave too, and he's like, is there exemptions for medical, is there exemptions for childcare, is there exemptions for all of that? And there is, that lives in our handbook, that lives in our county handbook, the FMLA, that kind of stuff, injuries and so on and so forth. I could pull up.
It's just an example. I know there's I'm not even gonna mention it because I can't, but somebody locally, neighbor county, had same situation for a government agency, and they brought everybody in for a department head meeting, and if you didn't pick up a scheduled shift in the next 2 months, you were terminated on the spot. So, it's a liability, like my point is, it's a liability if somebody doesn't work for a whole year, but they still have Chickasaw County as employment. That risk is always out there. So I get your point. We want people to stay on, but when is the time we're gonna remove them from employment?
Right, so that's why 2 consecutive quarters, that gives you, in reality, that gives you 6 months, right? So Rebecca, her exact words were, please note the county can still give employees an option to resign instead of be terminated. We typically don't spell that out in a policy.
Fair.
So, yeah, what is discipline? I don't know. I follow the handbook, written, verbal, written.
Yeah, you'd have to write them out.
Up to, yeah.
Yeah, documentation's key in all this, so.
Yeah, and I think that's easy enough to obtain because our schedule's laid out on a platform that you can run reports off of, so.
No, just a question.
Yeah.
Just.
I definitely agree that these people need to put more hours in to keep familiarized with everything in that rate. I ran an ambulance way back, or ran on one, and if you're not running every so often, there's a lot of things to remember. And the equipment, and the driver, a lot of times you just go for to run back and forth, but you gotta know where stuff's at. So if you don't do it very often,
The only thing that I didn't add in here was skills, staying current on all of that, but that is outlined in their job description. So I left it out intentionally, not to be redundant. I thought this policy had enough in it the way it was.
Is this something you'll have the employee sign to say that they've acknowledged it and seen it?
How do we do that with new policies in there departmentally?
I think you have to have them initial it, just because they were hired not with this policy. We, the board, the governing body of the EMS, good point. I think they need to at least initial or know it's out there now, or that they need to follow this.
Yeah, as I
As best
said,
they
we have been discussing it as part of our yearly evaluations, and we'll continue as we work through the rest of our employees. They'll certainly be aware of it, and would be very easy to add a signature line to it and have them sign it as we're doing that evaluation.
I think you should, that way, have
Pretty
documentation.
easy. Like, I would never suspect that any of our employees would ever, when shown, hey, it's been 6 months since you worked a shift. I would never suspect that any of our employees wouldn't be like, yeah, you're right, like I need to reevaluate. And wouldn't propose leaving on good terms and having the ability to come back when your life is less chaotic, when your kids are growing up, when you're not coaching 3 sports. I've said that for years. In these smaller towns, like, our good people that we want on our fire departments and on our ambulances are also the good people that we want to be our football coaches and our baseball coaches and our, you get pulled in so many different directions when you're younger, and that's just the way it is. But people's life events change, and that's great. And we'll take them when we're ready, when they're ready.
and so we gotta be open to taking people back.
Yeah.
Hiring employees.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you, Joel.
Yeah.
Where it says staff are encouraged to be at the station.
Yep.
Let's take Fredericksburg, for instance.
Yep.
Let's say you got two of them that will have signed up for an 8-hour deal.
Mhm.
Do we not have don't we have a policy that if they're not at the station, you are at a reduced rate?
So the Fredericksburg staff is always staffed as a backup truck.
Yeah, but I was saying, okay, so you're still gonna leave that?
Yes.
So how is that gonna work as far as
Hours.
hours?
So if you look in there, employees who are not regularly scheduled will work an average of 24 hours per month, staffing either crew one or backup. So it's either category. So they can be on the main truck up here, they can be on the backup truck up here, or the backup truck in Fredericksburg.
Okay.
So if they're on the schedule for either truck, or there's certain,
Any position,
Any-
any
yes.
position.
So just being on the schedule counts as those
Correct.
are not actually working.
What was funny about this is, as I was talking to, I'll mention, they shared in Dittmer, was one of them. I said, he's like, oh, yeah, this is gonna be a little more difficult to navigate because I work for John Deere and my drive time and all this. And I said, basically, Sheridan, we're just putting you on the schedule for what you're already doing. I said, last night from 5:30 PM till 5:30 this morning, were you available? Well, yeah, I was available. Well, then let's put you on the schedule and at least show that you're working it, versus not. And he's like, yeah, it's, that'll work. So that's where a lot of, I was very proud of our crew that they were as easy to go with and work with as they were. So
Are they getting paid anything to be on the backup?
yes, yep, depending on their level. Yep, depending on their level. Just $3 an hour for drivers, $4 an hour for EMTs, $4.25 for advanced EMTs, and $4.75 for paramedics or nurses.
Unless on the crew, you get paid zero if you get a call.
There are very few services in the world anymore that do that, just because there's nobody will do it for free.
Right.
But it's something, it's like a couple of our drivers, they pick up a few shifts here and there. Even if they don't get activated, it's a little bit of something to help buy a Christmas present or give their wife something extra or their spouse, it's just something, it just makes you feel good to be able to help your community too, so.
Is there a motion to approve the employee classification categories for EMS?
I'll make that motion.
I don't, so if you guys adopt,
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
if you guys adopt this policy today, I was gonna say, let's put it in effect January 1, the start of the quarter. If that's okay.
Is that okay
You can,
with the motion?
yeah,
And then sign off.
I would,
Sign off.
I was gonna add that, so,
okay,
with the signature.
with the signature.
So the policy, Steve, then add to your motion would be effective January 1st, 2026, along with all staff to sign off.
Perfect.
Any discussion?
Only question I got, and I talked to a couple of guys from Fredericksburg. They're like, so even if we're on a backup crew, $3 an hour or whatever it is, that means I can't do anything other than, if I'm gonna sign up, basically they said that they don't wanna, they look at it as working another guy.
So the only two requirements of the backup crew is be within 30 minutes of either station, Fredericksburg or New Hampton, and be sober. That's it. That is the extent. Be ready to respond, fit for duty. So,
Should be pretty easy, once every 6 months.
yeah,
But I could be wrong.
that is, and I guess if we do end up having employees that are not interested in being able to fall in with that, and I guess they have to reevaluate if that's what they want to do anymore. Our backup policy is, I won't say any more or less restrictive than any of the other services around us, but you have to have something, right? If the people who say, you know what, I'm not as interested in doing, for the $3 or $4 an hour, because I feel too restricted that I can't go to Waterloo or I can't do whatever. The other alternative is they can come up here and they could put their required hours in on the first crew and be paid at a higher wage versus being on the backup. But as the backup sits, that's the policy that we have.
The backup crew, remind me, the backup crew has to be within 30 minutes.
They do. Of either station.
So, yep, so when let's say crew 1 goes out, they have 30 minutes to get to the station.
Well, depends what crew 1 goes out for. If crew 1 is leaving the area for an interfacility transfer, the crew 1 doesn't leave until the backup is in place. Now, most people get here in substantially shorter time than 30 minutes, but that is the policy to have up to. Simultaneous 911s are a little bit different. If we have 2 911s drop at the same time, the first crew is out, the second crew, while technically has 30 minutes to respond, our staff knows who's where and what they're doing. If they say, well, if it's gonna take, say I'm at the county line north and it's gonna take me 20 minutes to get into town, I know that me coming from the county line, I'm still faster than any other ambulance to get to that call. If by chance, the person is a little farther out, say they're down in Bremer County, and we know that Nashua can be there or Elma can be to that corner of the county, we're gonna at that point page mutual aid, just because it's in patient's best interest. But that's the 2 times that the second crew gets activated. That and for football games and for PR events and that kind of stuff where we're requested to be on standby.
So you have to have 2 backups then?
We may, depending on how often the Fredericksburg crew, if this is who we're talking about, put together a truck. Honestly, it's pretty low cost considering to have the ability to send 2 transfers out at the same time, or, we as a organization get outside transfer requests 2 a shift, maybe 3 a shift. We always give priority to Mercy New Hampton because they're our hospital, and then we try to help out Floyd County as much as we can and Sumner and everywhere else. If by chance we do have that Fredericksburg truck on, then we can feel a little bit more secure about sending both trucks out on a transfer versus, and still having the county covered.
Any more questions? Otherwise, we'll take a vote here. Good. All in favor of this policy, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. Lastly is discuss part-time drivers that must be asking to be employed, but we don't have the advertisement for.
Yeah, so, that was a bit of a shock to me as well. I don't regularly check the county's website, but, we have a position on there for EMTs and paramedics, we don't have it on there for drivers. So when I saw 2 applications come through, I thought they were for drivers, I brought one of them up here, and Jake called me, he's like, that's for EMT, and she's not certified, so that's an issue, right? What I'm looking for is consensus from the board, that we update the county's website to be advertising for a part-time driver. I've got a couple of good candidates who would make excellent drivers. One of them is going to be going into the EMT class this winter, and the other one has interest in it. Again, drivers are the first step to getting into the EMS system, and they are by far our most fiscally responsible employee to have, because they are, honestly, they're paid far less than they should be. but they are what allow us to take interfacility transfers out of hospitals that pay the best, so.
So this would be also matching the other job descriptions that are on there, pretty much open until filled.
Yeah.
We've allowed this in the other three categories, are exempt, paramedics and EMTs.
Yeah, you know, so I wrestle with that a little bit, the open until filled thing. Because we do get some applicants, that I screen, that I set aside because they don't meet our culture, they don't meet what we're looking for in employees. But I don't wanna miss a good one that, you know, in that.
And the other thing I've been told, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, they apply online, and sometimes we don't look at that enough. Like, they sit there.
So what's interesting about that is, and I don't know, I've worked with Gina in the auditor's office, the first time we hired the big push, like, they came into my inbox immediately. And
Now they're
now,
not,
they're not.
they're just sitting there.
And I don't know if that is on Mint Chip Labs.
Right, and things just seem like they're changing, because even when I first came on board and how easy it was, and now it's like I struggle with something that I've done fine forever.
What was interesting, when we first started this, not only would you get it, and then you would forward it to me, I was getting it myself. So I was getting them doubled, and I thought, well, this is better than nothing. Which we are currently.
I guess that's a question for the web-based
Yeah, I have to talk.
organizer, why they have not sent out those pushovers to your email accounts, and they're sitting there.
Right.
But that's an internal thing. So I guess, do you have an issue with the open until filled?
I would prefer it, just because you never know, like I've talked about, people's life events change, and they, otherwise were not able to for years, and now they are able to, and I wanna have that position without having to come up and ask you guys every time to open it up for posting, and then go through that entire process. Like I said, we don't hire everyone that comes on, like some of them don't fit with us, and that's okay. But I don't want to miss any of them, I guess.
Okay, open to fill.
Yeah, we still have to approve hiring, but this is just a post on the website.
Correct.
Sounds good.
Yeah, if you guys would have a consensus on that, then I'll reach out to the couple of people who applied for the wrong position and encourage them to apply again so I can look at them.
Is there a motion to approve the advertisement of part-time drivers for the EMS department to be open till filled? Steve, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Steve, second by Isaac. Is there any discussion on the part-time drivers? I'm just gonna say we have policies now in place that hopefully can move it along so we don't get complaints from having this whole list of people, and now they're required to work one shift every quarter. So, any other discussion on the part-time advertisement on our county website? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. Anything else, Troy?
Nothing for me, guys.
At some point in your contract, you need to visit with us, probably in January.
Yeah, help me refresh my memory.
I think it has to be done before March.
It has to be done before March. That's part of the evaluation and the contract are the same thing, right? We did combine them
Yeah, we
finally,
did.
because they were separate at one point.
Kind of rematched it with the engineer's office now.
I think so, yeah. I did submit the medical examiner's budget.
Yeah,
I missed part of the early part of the meeting. Did you guys talk about appointments for?
He did not fill out the application that we sent him, so.
I will reach out to him.
He has until January 1st.
Can you send me the application?
well, Donna sent it to him this last week, because he's wanted it, and he was gonna send it to me,
Okay.
I never received it.
I'll reach out to him. We need a medical examiner.
Okay,
He said he's willing to do it, he just needs to fill it out. Maybe he's a little busy.
Perfect, thank you.
thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Discuss future agenda items, so we have the two that were on this morning, the Pioneer Cemetery will reschedule, and medical examiner, we all know, we sent it out to Brinkman, he's willing to apply, he just needs to get the paperwork done. And then the Pioneer Cemetery, I reached out to Steve Kennan, the vice chair. They're gonna do some changes. Steve's gonna become chair of their commission. And then it sounds like Judy and Dale are gonna reapply. Wait on the paperwork. We can't make those motions today until the paperwork's done. So that'll be on for next week too. And then it looks like Sheila has two scheduled already. Riverview Center for 9/10 and Foster Grandparent Program for 9/20. And then we are working with the bond attorney to set the dates for the public hearing on the urban renewal amendment number 2. Otherwise, you guys want to see any internal departments? I mean, we can maybe see medical examiner if you got that one back already. Or you guys want to wait?
I would prefer you to wait so I can get my evaluation.
I would too.
I'm right there.
So, if there's nothing else, that's what we have right now for future agenda items. Do you guys want elected officials back on, or do you want that for the 29th?
Maybe 29, we need to see the evaluations.
Okay. Anything else you guys want? Any push for any other departments? No claims next week, and it is the 22nd of December.
So no claims.
So otherwise, if you guys want to do one or two more nonprofits, if they show up, if they want to come in, get those out of the way if they call in.
I didn't call them people.
If they call, let's get it moved to.
Okay. All right. Anything else for the good? If not, is there a motion to adjourn? We must want to keep talking about something. What do we want to do? Is there a second? Oh, gotta have fun, guys. Motion by Steve, second by Travis to adjourn at 10:32. All in favor, say aye. Aye, anybody opposed? Motion is carried.
Travis.
Yeah, I was waiting for you.